This video is brought to you by Sporlan, quality, integrity, and tradition. Today's call, it's an emergency walk-in freezer call. It's Saturday, May 17th. The customer says that yesterday the temps were really high and this thing was vibrating, making a vibrating sound. They even showed me a video and it was like, and they said that they noticed that ice was hanging off of it. So I come up today, it's pretty cold in here, the coil's not frozen up, something's going on. Let's head up to the roof, maybe throw this guy in defrost, see if anything funky's happening. All right, we come up to the roof. This equipment I've had history with, and they were supposed to upgrade the equipment because they didn't size it right, but they never did, of course. This is the condenser. I'm gonna pull the top off. We're gonna see what's going on in here. It looks like it's running okay. I don't see any major issues. But, and we need to put it into defrost and check the defrost and see what's going on with that. It seems like it's cycling. It's maintaining -8 in the box. All right, I came to the defrost clock. It didn't have the right time on it, but I clicked it into defrost, and then now we're gonna get the meter out and we're gonna test to see if the clock is working properly. This is the one that I came in after they did a new install and like they botched the install. The equipment is like marginally sized for the high ambient temperatures. They get like 110, 112 here, and it's not designed for that, so it has a hard time maintaining in the high temps. Also, they never replaced the defrost clock from the beginning. There was a new one just strapped to the compressor. They never installed it. That was a problem. I changed that. It was like a whole video that I did. But so we should be in defrost. Let's get our meter out, check to see if we're sending power to the heaters. So this is a standard Graslin clock. So between 1 and N should have main power 211 volts. That's correct. N and 3 is my heater circuit. 211 volts, so we're sending power to the heaters. And then N and 4 should not have power, and that is correct. So the defrost clock seems to be working correctly. The compressor's cycling because of pressures, as refrigerant is boiling out of the oil elsewhere. As the coil heats up, it's going to raise the system pressures, and then it'll turn on and off via the low pressure control. Should be a solenoid valve, but even if there is a solenoid valve, it'll still, as the evaporators warming up from the heaters, bring the pressure up enough sometimes to turn the system on. So seems like we're all good. Let's go ahead and head downstairs and see what's going on down there. Okay, I pulled the sides off the coil. The evaporator fan motor shut off, but there is ice back there. There's ice all behind the coil. The heater is working. I've got current on the heater, so that is a good sign. Whether or not all the heaters are working, I'm going to get in there and check, but we're going to have to defrost this coil. So little backstory, they've got a reach-in freezer that's not working here. They've been trying to get the warranty company out to fix it because the manufacturer won't let me fix it. And that means that they're using this extra heavy going in and out of this box because they have no reach-in freezer. So more than likely they froze it up just because they're opening and closing the door so much during operation. And then I also suspect, because while I was on the roof, I'll show you guys, the air filters and the ACs haven't been changed since September of 24, and it is May of 25. And the belts are all loose on their ACs, so I suspect the kitchen's nice and warm too, which is going to cause warm air intrusion every time they open that box. Extra warm air, you know? So I'm going to test to make sure all the heaters are working, get an amp on, or a current set, sense current on all of them, check current on all of them, and then we're going to get this pulled apart and defrost it all the way. Yep, all the heaters are working. I've got current on all of them, so we're going to go shut off the power on the roof and then get this guy defrosted. All right, we're going to turn it off up here. We'll verify power's off. So I talked to the manager and I mentioned to them that their ACs can't be working. There's no way. And they're like, that makes sense, man. My whole building's hot. And I'm like, yeah, like, look at the water coming out of this. Belt's loose. There's water all in the unit. These filters are dated 9/17/24. I know that these units have major problems. They told me, and then this is how this works. They're like, yeah, people have been coming out for the last couple weeks looking at my ACs and they can't figure it out. And I go, people? I go, so apparently they don't use me for your air conditioning anymore. Like, you know, I'm about done with this silliness. I'm not gonna play these games of coming out back and forth. So for this building to work, these ACs have to be working. For the walk-in freezer to work, remember I said it's marginally sized. ACs have to be working. Exhaust fans have to be working. And if that stuff's not working, then nothing's gonna work right. They're reaching freezers down and they're going in and out of their walk-in freezer. I'm talking probably 20 times an hour because they got to go in there to get food because the freezer's down. If the kitchen's hot, I mean, it's not going to work as it is with 20 times an hour. And I might be exaggerating with that number, but I'm probably not. I mean, this is a high volume restaurant. So if they're going in and out of this a bunch and the ACs aren't working and it's hot in the kitchen and the manager says, dude, it's been hot in here. Well, then yeah, who knows, man? This is a mess. So I'm going to defrost this thing, but I'm not coming back this weekend for another iced up coil. It's just not happening. Like, I'm not playing these games. I got enough crap in my life to have to deal with people that don't want to fix their equipment. So we're going to do our best to get it running, and then we're going to tell them, you got to get the ACs fixed. You got to get that stuff dialed in. This thing right here, I can hear that this thing has a loose belt. This is their exhaust fan. Let's have a look at that real quick. I can tell because I can hear it squeaking. Yep, you can tell it's loose, so they're not moving as much heat as they should. What about this guy? Oh, this guy's a direct drive. Oh wait, that's like a cheesy exhaust fan. This one over here is another exhaust fan for their cook's lane. And I can tell by this, pretty sure I know what company that is that uses that marker because they were in some of my other restaurants. Feels like this one has a tightened belt. It's not squeaking as much, it's moving quite a bit of air, so they might have come out on that one and tightened up the belt, but then not tightened up everything else, who knows. But yeah, all right, well, let's get down there and get this thing defrosted. All right, being very careful. If it was thicker, I'd pull the motor out, but it's not even that bad, so I'm gonna try to do it with the motor in place, nice and carefully. Always wanna be careful on those. A little bit of water at a time. This is not a big drain pan. We don't want it falling on the floor. So I'm just going to keep on going until we get this defrosted. Now I am luckily enough that I get to get hot water to this, so it makes it go faster, but cold water would suffice if I needed it to. I ended up pulling the motor because the water was just running down the wires and I didn't like it. So just pulled it real quick. Be sure to get all the ice out of the corners and the side panels. Always open them up, the expansion valve side if there is any. Always make sure, because if there's the slightest bit of ice, especially in the expansion valve or the electrical, the heaters for the most part don't do anything over there. Slightly, like just lick that tiny bit of heater, you're gonna get the heat rising. But yeah, so especially after you're getting freeze ups and stuff, I'm pretty confident that because this thing was down to temp when I got here this morning, once I get it defrosted, if we got a clear sight glass, more than likely everything's working and they just have a heat load problem, infiltration, all that stuff. All defrosted, put back together. Everything's good. So let's go up top, turn it back on. Again, this thing was down to temp, so as long as we got a clear sight glass, I'm not going to be too worried about much. All right. Hot discharge, cold suction. Sight glass is clear. It's been running for a few minutes. I do not care for that sight glass because they're hard to see, but whatever. It's been running for a few minutes, so evaporator fan should be on. Don't see any issues here. So here's my logic. The box was down to temp, -8. They said that during the day it's not working. I know their kitchen AC is not working. All the food in the box is frozen. The coil was defrosted, but everything in front of the coil, which the defrost heaters don't get, had ice, right? So the box is working. The equipment's doing everything that it can, in my opinion. And the ice is just from the box constantly freezing up because they're going in and out of the box all day long. I did increase the defrost cycles, put 2 more defrost cycles in the middle of the day. Other than that, I'm going to tell them to get the air conditioning fixed. I have a feeling they're using someone else for the air conditioning now, which is fine. They can do that, but I'm not going to keep coming out on the freezer if they don't get the air conditioner fixed, because this is just creating nuisance calls for me. So I'm not going to be a jerk about it, but you know, I'm just not going to bend over backwards to come out on overtime. During the week, as long as it's not affecting my other customers, sure, I'll come out as much as they want. But on my weekend, when I could be at home with my family or something, it's not simply about money with me. I do want to take care of my customers, but if they don't respect my time and value my time, then I'm not going to bend over backwards to get their equipment fixed when it's my time, if that makes sense. Now, my time is the weekends, you know, basically that's my important time. So it's not just about money with us. It's about having a quality balance of work-life kind of stuff. You know what I mean, Vern? All right, well, let's head downstairs and make sure the evaporator's coming down in temp. All right, you know, I don't mind taking care of my customers, dealing with emergency service calls on overtime, walk-in freezers. That's the name of the game. That's what this job is about, right? We're an emergency service company. But I start to draw a line when, you know, the customer is not taking their care of not taking care of their equipment, and it creates a problem that generates service calls that take my personal time to complete, if that makes sense. Okay. So, you know, it's one thing if it's not affecting my other customers and it's normal service hours, you know, I'll take whatever calls, even if we got to keep going back to do a call, as long as it's not affecting my business in other ways, and I don't mind it. Right. But when it comes to the weekends, when it comes to after hours service calls where I got to stop my family time to go help them, that's when I start to lose patience. Right. And this particular customer is not doing routine maintenance. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in the company, and the writing's on the wall that doesn't look too good, essentially. Okay. But they still need their equipment operating, right? So they placed that emergency service call, and they didn't want me to come out that night. They said they could wait till the morning. So that was cool. And then I came in the next morning, still overtime, right? And then it was like, okay, so I go through everything and it's like, this equipment seems like it's working. You know, it was down to temp, -6 when I got there. Like, that's pretty darn good. It was just about to satisfy, you know. But then I stumbled upon their ACs aren't working, all of them. They've had multiple problems. Apparently, whatever service company they're using for their ACs has come out multiple times throughout the week. And I'm like, none of their ACs, they only have 3 of them, have new filters. One of them has a Titan belt. You can tell it's tight. But none of them have new filters. And my understanding was the manager said, yeah, the other company came out and they said that the thermostats aren't labeled right, so nothing matches up. And it's like, okay, that's probably true, but they only have 3 ACs. How hard could it be to figure out which thermostat controls which? Like, it's not that difficult, right? So who knows who they're using? I don't know. I suspect that the writing on the exhaust fans was another service company that was poking their noses in a lot of my restaurants, but I don't know, you know? Who knows? Bottom line, I defrosted the freezer, made sure that ice was gone, got it running. It was already down to temp when I got there. Didn't really see anything else wrong. Didn't see a need to put service gauges on it because it was maintaining temperature. It's now been a couple days and haven't had a call back on it, but the heat wave is hitting this week. Today was the first really hot day where it was almost 100 degrees. I think it was like 98 degrees. So I bet you their kitchen is smoking hot right now. Exhaust fans not pulling enough air because of loose belts. ACs with dirty filters, loose belts. And then I already know that their ACs have a lot of other problems because I've put in service quotes to get those ACs fixed. And those quotes were denied, and who knows what they were going to do. On top of that, the freezer equipment, they were supposed to upgrade the equipment and put bigger equipment in, because I told them the way that they size that equipment is so marginally sized. Even when I reached out to the manufacturer cold pack and said, this is operating in 115 degree ambient, they were like, this is not rated for 115 ambient. Now it'll work, but it just, the BTU capacity drops off the map at 115 degree ambient. So, you know, with a hot kitchen and all that stuff, that equipment is not going to maintain that box. I can only do so much, right? So that's when I start to lose my patience and say, I'm not coming out multiple times. Now, I politely told the manager, I wasn't rude, and I was just like, look, bro, you got to get this AC fixed. And it's not his choice. It's his boss's bosses that are making the decisions. It's a corporate decision. It's not a manager decision. Because trust me, they would call me out in a heartbeat because, you know, they know that I know their equipment. And, you know, to be honest with you. And then, but it was funny though, because the manager was like, okay, so he like got his notepad out. He's like, what did you say is wrong with the ACs? And I was like, because I had told him earlier, like a bunch of stuff. And I go, they need to be fixed. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell them what to tell their maintenance company or whoever they're using to do. Like, no. I just told him they're just not working. And then I kind of blew him off for a second when he asked me when he was wanting to write everything down. And I was like, oh, let me finish this. And then when I left, I was like, all right, I'm out. You know, I'm not going to give him a list of things that I know would dramatically increase their AC problems if they're not going to use me. let their other service company try to figure it out, because it sounds like they're having a heck of a time trying to figure out the unit has dirty filters, apparently. Again, I'm listening to what the manager's telling me. You know, I didn't see the invoices or anything, so who knows? But regardless, we defrosted the coil. The box was working. The defrost was working. I added a few more defrosts, and I was done with it. Like, that's all I'm giving them until they make a decision, you know? So that's it. We can only do what they let us do, right? And my family time is really important to me. So I went out there, I gave them that one shot, but I'm not going to be doing 911 emergency calls until they get all their other equipment fixed. You know, then I'll start going out if they need it or something. But I'm not going to ruin my family time and hurt my family and hurt my valuable time, you know, if that makes sense. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I mean, am I being a jerk for not being willing to go out? And again, I'll go out on normal time. I'll go out on, you know, but just, it's my overtime stuff. I'm not going to drop everything I'm doing. I'm not going to stop eating my dinner to go run out there, or not go to a family function with my family to run out there to fix their equipment that they're not maintaining, if that makes sense, you know, because it isn't just about money with me. Of course, I want to help the customer, but if they don't value my time, yeah, I'm not bending over backwards. I really appreciate you guys making it to the end of the video. Let me know in the comments, or shoot me an email, hvacrvideos@gmail.com. Am I, you know, being ridiculous for not willing to drop everything and run out there for silly service calls if they're not maintaining it? If you're interested in supporting the channel, there's a couple different ways you can do so. The easiest way, though, to support this channel is just watch the videos from beginning to end. That really is the easiest way. Now, you can support it financially if you want to. You can go to PayPal, Patreon, or YouTube channel memberships, of which there's links in the show notes of this video on how to do that. You can, yeah, I'm getting distracted because I'm looking in here. So I'm very curious in your guys' screen if the writing's backwards. I never realized that because I've never shot something, but this is backwards in the screen that I'm looking at. So I'm curious if it's backwards for you guys too. The camera obviously has a mirror image or something like that. But anyways, so Patreon, PayPal, YouTube channel memberships, there's links in the show notes of this video if you're interested in any of those. You can also go to my website, hvacrvideos.com, where we have merchandise available, hats, beanies. Not really too concerned with the beanies right now, right? So we got hats and stickers, few t-shirts left, and few sweatshirts left, but the sweatshirts and the t-shirts are being phased out, so when they're gone, they're gone. Again, that's hvacrvideos.com. Last but not least, if you're interested, you can go over to TrueTechTools.com. You see the SC480 field piece meter that I used in this video. I actually picked that up from TrueTech Tools. If you go to TrueTechTools.com and you find some cool tools that you like on their website, I have an affiliate code, big picture, one word. If you use my affiliate code at checkout, you can get a discount on majority of the items on their website, and then I get a small commission. So it's a great way to help support the channel. Again, thank you so very much. I hope I don't come across as a jerk in the way that I was talking about the customer in here. It's just that, you know, I'm not willing to bend over backwards for someone that doesn't respect my time too. So it is what it is. I haven't officially dropped the customer or anything like that. We're still trying to help them. I want to, you know, I want to maintain a good relationship with them, but I'm just not going to be doing 911 emergency calls for no reason, kind of a thing. So I really do appreciate you. Leave me some feedback. Let me know what you think, and hopefully we will catch you on the next one.